Hallo und herzlich willkommen zur Coverage der Europameisterschaft 2016. And I promise you that was the only German we're going to speak on the stream for the entire weekend. Don't worry, it's going to be English this weekend. All right, we're here in Berlin, the capital of Germany, one of the largest cities in Europe, the second largest in fact, and we're in front of the major site of Berlin, the Brandenburg Gate. Which is the one thing that you should really associate with Berlin, and also with a couple of other things, among them the German reunification, when East and West finally came back together. That's one of the things it stands for. The entire city has a rich history, and we're going to walk you through it when we check out some of the sites in Berlin that show you what life was like back in the days with the separation between East and West Berlin. On top of the Brandenburg Gate, we have 4 horses carrying a chariot. Originally, that was supposed to be a symbol of peace. Then Napoleon came, spoiled the party, took over all of Prussia and used it to start his procession when he was celebrating his victory. With that, we're going to take a short break and go to the next site in the city of Berlin.
Time to do.
We're now at the second stop of our little city tour through Berlin, and it's the second most visited attraction in Berlin. The main reason for that is it's 5 minutes away from Brandenburg Gate, so you can just walk from there over here. And we're not talking about the Irish 5 minutes, we're talking about German 5 minutes, and we're clocking those, it's actually just 5 minutes. These are the houses of parliament where the German politicians are coming together to put law into place and do what politicians do. At the top of the building you can see a gigantic glass spire that is reflecting the light, letting it in from all directions and reflecting it to basically the entire building. The building was not used after the war until the 90s, and only after the reunification we decided to use it again as the place where the politicians are meeting. That's why in 1988 Michael Jackson was actually holding a concert here in front of the Reichstag, part of his Bad World tour, with 50,000 people meeting here and putting up quite the party, of course. You can also walk from here to the Kanzleramt, which is right over there, which is where Angela Merkel is residing. So it's a very nice area, especially for tourists. You can do plenty of things, and that's why I highly recommend it. You should totally check it out. With that, on to the next site.
Time to do.
In the background you can now see the Funkturm, the radio tower next to Alexanderplatz. One of the main sites in Berlin. You can see it from all over Berlin. You can easily navigate around the city, but just by looking at the Funkturm and you will know, okay, this is where the Eastern Center is. I like to call it the Eastern Center because it's basically the heart of the former East Berlin. We have a couple of centers in Berlin thanks to the rich history of the city. The Western Center would be the Zoo. Right between Alexanderplatz and the Zoo we got the Hauptbahnhof, the main train station, which we're also probably going to see later on today. In the 1960s they restructured the whole thing, turned it into a pedestrian walk zone, and nowadays it's become one of the commercial centers in Berlin with gigantic shopping malls, several of them, surrounding the Alexanderplatz, all next to the radio tower, the Funkturm, which is 368 meters high, the second largest structure in Europe. All right, that's it from this little side. We're going to move on to the next one.
Time to do.
We're now at the East Side Gallery, also where the Berlin Wall was, or used to be, still standing. In fact, one of the few places in Berlin where the Berlin Wall is still standing, but it's been turned into an open-air gallery. That's where the name stems from. 1.3 kilometers long, and more than 100 paintings have been painted on the Berlin Wall after the fall of East Germany, the reunification of Germany, to show that there's a brighter future ahead, that people are coming together. That's why artists from both the East and the West were involved in this great project and created some of the most stunning artworks you've ever seen, especially in an open-air gallery. It's the longest lasting open-air gallery in the world, and also the longest, like I said, 1.3 kilometers. We see art from some of the most renowned artists. The most famous one is probably the kiss between Erich Honecker and Leonid Brezhnev from the former Soviet Union. So there's lots to see. It is free. You should totally check it out when you're in Berlin. You can just come to one of the subway stations that is close by, walk for 5 minutes, you're going to be here and can check out one of the coolest sites in Berlin that shows the cultural side of the city.
Time to do.
We're now at the checkpoint Charlie, or checkpoint C, one of the few points where I could actually cross from the east to the west when the wall was still there in former divided Berlin, of course. In case you're wondering why was there a wall in the first place, originally when Germany was separated you could easily cross from east to west because there were even subway lines making it easy for you to just get from East Berlin to West Berlin. This is one of the few places where you could actually legally cross the wall if you had the right documentation. Of course, few people had, at least few people from the east, because it was strictly forbidden to go from the east to the west. Other way around, not such a problem. In the background there's also a museum at the checkpoint Charlie and a Kremlin flag, something you don't see every day or anywhere really. That's it for now, let's go on to the next site.
Time to do.
We're now taking a break, but even when we're taking a break, we're working hard for you because we're now in true Berlin style at Curry 36. This is true Berlin cuisine. It's one of the nicest snacks that you can get in Germany. It's a currywurst. It's basically a bratwurst with curry sauce. It was invented in Berlin. It's one of the most popular snacks in Germany, if not the most popular snack. And you should definitely try it out when you're in Berlin. And with that, we're on to our city tour again.
Time to do.
We've now made it to the final stop of our little city tour through Berlin, and we're in front of the venue where the European Championship 2016 is taking place at the Estrell in Berlin-Neukölln. It's the second largest hotel in Germany, more than 1,100 rooms, so you can always find a place to sleep in there. It's also got a convention center right next door with 25,000 square meters. So there's lots of room for different events, not just the European Championship, of course. 1,800 every year. That's almost record breaking, but I'm not 100% sure. I hope you got a glimpse of what Berlin is like. It's a very diverse city with a very rich history. Got great culture in the city. They say about New York that if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. I'm not sure you can say the same thing about Berlin because it's so affordable, but that's what I like about it. No matter what's your background, no matter what you're into, you can find something in Berlin. That's really the coolest thing about this city. So you should totally check it out. If you're not here, make sure you're coming and take a visit the next time we're in Berlin. With that, without any further ado, let's get our game on and have some exciting duels at the European Championship 2016.